We're gonna talk about sci-fi today, and I cannot wait. I really can't. Nope, I cannot wait because I kind of gave up on sci-fi for a minute, which is not a shot at anyone. It's my own personal failing. It's a thing that was wrong with me, but I lost my faith in sci-fi for a little bit. Let me explain. Hello, my name is Andrew Givler. I'm an author and a booktuber, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite sci-fi series of all time that should become one of your favorite sci-fi series of all time. Don't worry, it's going to be spoiler light. I don't want to ruin your experience for reading it if you haven't read it. I will warn you if anything you shouldn't know, but we're going to talk about things you should know. This is YouTube. These are the rules. If you like it, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button to follow my journey talking about books and writing my own books. And let's cover some sci-fi. The book is called Empire of Silence, and it's by Christopher Ruccio. And if I mispronounce that, I'm very sorry. I'm a big fan. It's not on purpose. But before we talk about what makes it so great, let me talk about what I look for in sci-fi and why my interest had fallen. I love sci-fi. I am one of the biggest Star Wars nerds you will ever meet. The original extended universe, I think I read most of it up until like a certain point in my life, but like when I stopped reading it as much, I had covered most of it. Everything from Michael Stackpole, Aaron Alston, Timothy Zahn, A.C. Crispin, and a ton more. I can tell you everything about Star Wars. I could name every single Super Star Destroyer ever made. I could tell you how long they are. I can tell you how many squadrons of starfighters they carry. Okay, like I know way too much. I love sci-fi, but I have found myself over the years always looking for new fantasy and not new sci-fi when I'm looking for it. And part of that was just a me thing. Star Wars was this beautiful universe that melded magic and technology together and was really consistent and coherent, but it didn't focus on the technology too much to the point that I got sort of bogged down in it, but it had amazing opportunities for really cool stuff. In essence, it was fantasy just with technology being the magic. Now, at this point, I need to confess a sin. Never read Dune. And I know I need to read Dune. It just was on my list and I never got to it. And then the Dune movie came out, and the Dune movie was incredible. I loved it. We can talk about that another day. But here's what happened. I don't want to read Dune before I see the second part of the Dune movie. I want to see their version of it since that's what I've started. Then I will read Dune. But I know enough about what's going on in Dune to at least recognize some familiarity. So now we turn to Empire of Silence, which was a sci-fi I picked up on a whim and blew me away. This is in my top 3 books right now. Well, top 3 series. This book is the start of the Sun Eater series, which is in my top 3 series, okay? My great loves, my things I recommend to everyone. I shill like you wouldn't believe, okay? Like you need to read these, please, please, please. So the summary of Empire of Silence is, and these are no spoilers here, it's gonna sound like a spoiler, but it isn't. So the Sun Eater series is set 20,000 years in the future. Humanity has expanded across the stars. The empire of man goes across thousands of planets. It's huge. You could never go to it all, right? We finally have contact with aliens, and it is not going well. They are a warlike, barbaric species that eats us and is like bent on our destruction, and we are losing. It's not going well. Again, none of this is spoilers. This is, boom, where it starts. The main character, Hadrian Marlowe, is now known as the Sun Eater. And apparently, again, this is in the very first few pages, in the final conflict between man and alien, he is in a system and he decides to detonate the sun, blowing up the entire star system, which included an inhabited human planet. He kills several billion humans, but wipes out all of the aliens. This is why they call him the Sun Eater. The series is his origin story. It is his memoir of how he was a minor noble who became the Sun Eater. Feared, reviled, loved, hated, right? All of these things. You could probably draw some fair comparisons to Name of the Wind, right? Name of the Wind is a story about somebody who was already a legend who's doing it. So it's got foreshadowing. I love foreshadowing. Also, Name of the Wind is one of the other 3 series is on my top 3. So that should tell you where we're going, right? If you like Name of the Wind, you'll like this, okay? The crossover's amazing, trust me. Now, I will say that because this is the memoirs, right, it doesn't jump right into the action. It is a little bit slice of lifey. It's a little bit of a slow buildup in the beginning. It's very much like you are thrust into the world and you're gonna live his life with him. Some of the parts are more action oriented than the others. I think that the book takes probably the first third, and it's like a 600 page book, so like 200 pages to really find the stride and be like, oh, this is where we're going, this is the adventure we're going on. So it definitely takes you going in being ready to make an investment to find it, okay? But what you find is super worth it because like Star Wars, it has this beautiful blend of magic and science, and I love how he explains his science. He doesn't over explain it.
You will be destroyed.
Just like in a fantasy novel where sometimes you can get really bogged down in like giving you all the rules up front. The rules are given to you as you go. So you know you don't know everything that's going on, but you can pick up a lot by context. And I really, really appreciate that. It makes the world feel real to me. Because you know what? I can't give you all the rules of our world. I really appreciate that you're not trying to give me all the rules of your world. So like I said, it's a space opera with kind of a slice of life beginning that builds into something epic, and it's got a lot of foreshadowing. I'm a sucker for foreshadowing. I really am. You know, a lot of segments will be like, we'll say something like, of course, you're familiar with how poorly this went. And I'm like, I'm not familiar, but now I know something's about to happen. And it gets me all fired up and nervous, right? I like that. I like that a lot. Probably one of the coolest mechanics that exists in this universe. It's a little bit like Dune too, where it's low tech compared to something like Star Wars, right? There's no AI. There was a big war between the humans and the AI and all that kind of stuff. And one of the coolest things is the way that they do space travel, because I think it's really, really authentic and it works. But when you're traveling long distances that are, you know, light years and light years and light years apart, you get put into your cryo sleep, your hyper sleep. And there's some things about how timelines work and how long you live and stuff that I won't give away. But one of the things that's really cool is that people will become older and younger than each other as the series goes on, because you might be frozen for 20 years. Time will exist for everyone else, and then you'll pop out and be like, what's up guys, how's it going? Anything happen over the last 30 years? So there's some really cool like time slippage that occurs where people pass each other and then repass each other and change in age, that allows for a lot of maturity and a lot of interesting character developments and dynamics that I think are super freaking fun. Also, this is a book steeped in like classic literature references. I'm a big sucker for references. If you ever read any of my writing, you know that I'm a huge sucker for that. Christopher is clearly a huge sucker for that. He's very well read, very well educated. Hadrian is always talking about the ancient philosophers, and taking that stuff and applying it to like sci-fi 20,000 years in the future, where it's also been like corrupted and changed and isn't quite remembered quite right. I find that super fun. I think the evolution of human culture is fascinating. Now, I've been talking about Empire of Silence, which is the first book, and like I said, that one starts off slowly, but the payoff is in the future books. Books 2, 3, and 4 are already out, and they are also incredible and build on the foundation that's put here. So that's The Howling Dark, The Demon in White, and The Kingdoms of Death. And then book 5, The Ashes of Man, is coming out later this year. I cannot wait to see where this is going. So far, it's been incredibly worth the ride. The books are coming out at a great pace, even though they're big page turners that you really got to dive into and enjoy. Basically, here's what I'm saying. If you love giant epic stories that have magic, technology, and everything beautifully woven together in a believable, living, breathing universe that's setting the stage for something huge, and you know it's huge because the tease is already there, right? The foreshadowing has already promised you a cataclysmic showdown between human and aliens where an entire species is wiped out. Like, that's not, you can't get a bigger ending than that. Then I think that this book is absolutely for you. I think this book should be for everyone. It should be required reading in schools. That might be a bit extreme. Either way, listen, this book really, really changed my mind about sci-fi. It's made me want to write sci-fi. I have too much else to write first. We'll get to that. But one day I will write a sci-fi, and it'll be Empire of Silence and Christopher Ruccio's fault. Hadrian Marlowe is a character that'll live rent-free in your head for a long time. And you will agree with him, you will disagree with him, you will feel his pain, you will laugh at him complaining about some things because he's still a rich little spoiled kid at sometimes.
I want candy! I want candy! I want candy!
But it doesn't matter. It's worth the read. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I'm sorry. I've been up here too long, but I just really love this book, and I think you should too. So that's it. Read it. Seriously, it's really good. It's really good. I dream about it, but not in a weird way. The links will be in the description below. You can go grab it through there. Go find it yourself. Here's what I want to know. If you guys are excited about this series, we can discuss the other books in depth. That's where some of the big twists begin and some of the payoff. And I don't want to spoil any of that for anybody, so this is just a very passionate plea. I think it's something you guys should check out. I highly recommend it. After reading it, I dove into Red Rising, which is another huge series that I absolutely adore. We'll talk about that another time. If you guys have read Empire of Silence, leave some comments down below. Let me know what your opinion of the book is. If you want me to talk about Red Rising or some of the other series that have really changed my opinions of genres, also leave those as some input. In the meantime, I'll be back with another video, another review, another conversation soon. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later.